biting your nails and nearly pulled your hair out after watching the final day's action at Lord's between India and England on Monday, then we don't blame you because it was that kind of a test match where every ball was like watching an action movie. The match went down to the wire and India's persistence, hunger, and will to win overcome England's resistance. The match decided in the final hour with India winning the test by 151 runs and also took 1-0 lead in 5 test series. Welcome to News 9, I am Radhika, and to discuss that win of the ages, I have with me Abhijit Singh, senior sports journalist, and Nikhil Narayan, cricket data analyst. Hello sir, how's the Josh?
I'm like, the Josh is absolutely high, Radhika, especially after what transpired. An overseas win, and that too in England, that doesn't come very often, and we won the test match after 7 long years, but I'll keep the data to Nikhil. but just the kind of finish, and when you have this pundits going around and saying that test cricket is boring, test cricket is over. I mean, like, here is a test match which is decided in the last hour, and you cannot ask for anything better than an Indian victory at the home of cricket, Radhika.
Exactly. A test match like this is exactly what we all were waiting for. Nikhil, you are very excited, and it is clearly, we can see that from your t-shirt that you're wearing it. So how are you feeling right now?
I'm ecstatic. I mean, I couldn't sleep last night. I was, so happy, overwhelmed. It is one of India's greatest victories outside India. It ranks right up there with our recent performances at the Gabba, the MCG win. Lord's is right up there.
Yeah.
It is special because it was a collective performance. Everyone performed. You pick up any player from that 11 and they performed. Even Virat Kohli scored a 40 in the first innings. Even Ravindra Jadeja didn't pick up wickets, scored a 40 in the first innings, effected a run out. Every player performed, which is very rare. Usually you have individual brilliance leading to a great win. This was a collective performance leading to a great win. A rare win, a special win.
Undoubtedly, it was. Let's start from the beginning first, from the first innings.
Right.
Especially when we talk about the batting lineup or the batting side, I think it was KL Rahul and Rohit Sharma who did, lay the foundation for us. Abhijit, what do you feel about that partnership and those openers?
Like you put it across very aptly, Radhika. I'm like, every strong win or every overseas win, you need a foundation. And when your openers don't click, the challenge just doubles or triples from there on. And we were all anxious, at least I was, to look at how Rahul will perform. Yes, in Nottingham he scored 80 odd runs and he did well, but all eyes were on Rohit Sharma, who is the mainstay of Indian batting at the top of the order. But make no mistake about it, he is also trying to, this is his first full-fledged tour in England as an opener, and it's never easy against the moving ball, and that too at Lord's. You could be overwhelmed, or you could be like, here I am, want to prove a point to everyone that I can bat. And that partnership of 120 odd or 127, somewhere Nikhil might correct me. So from there on, you knew that India will post somewhere in excess of 300. And that was just the kind of start, at least in the first innings. Because in England, what happens if you are behind the game from the first innings, then you're actually chasing. It's almost like there are very few instances when you have won a test matches, and that partnership just deflated the England bowling, at least for the first, because when they pick up wickets, when the likes of Anderson, Ollie Robinson, Broad is not playing in this test match, or rather the whole series, but then you have, when you don't give them wickets, England bowlers or any bowling unit will become frustrated. And you got to give credit to Rohit Sharma, who just took the pressure off KL Rahul. He took the onus of attacking the opposition bowlers, and then from there on, once he was dismissed, by the way, he deserved 100, which wasn't there, but no worries, India won the test match. But from there on, how KL Rahul towards the end of the day also absorbed pressure. He was the set guy. He wanted to take the strike. He wanted to score big. And I was just listening to him. He was also awarded the man of the match.
Yes.
I'm like, just to look at your name on the honors board, I'm like, that tells you the kind of feeling that guy is actually going through right now, and also the whole of country.
Exactly. I couldn't agree more with you, Abhijit. This is aptly you put it up. Nikhil, I want to know some stats, some records that you feel that those two players or those partnerships have made it.
So Rohit and Rahul put together 126 for the opening wicket, which was India's highest stand in England. Post Jafar Karthik scoring 147 for the opening wicket in 2007 in Nottingham.
Yes.
2007, 14 years ago. It's like 14 saal ke banwas ke baad, if I can use that. So, it was a special partnership. Also, we must remember that Rohit and Rahul are two white ball specialists. Rohit is an all-time ODI great. Rahul is an IPL great. For two white ball specialists to do exceptionally well as openers in red ball cricket in England at Lord's is a monumental effort.
Yes, undoubtedly it was. This was about the batting lineup. Let's talk about our bowling unit in the first innings. I think Siraj and Ishant did rise, and they put all of their efforts at how much they can. What do you feel about that, Abhijit?
I'm like, as an outsider, as a fan, just watching it as a fan, Radhika, I'm like, when the pundits tells you that, you know, this is arguably the best bowling lineup because of the kind of variety you have. I'm like, you are dropping someone like Ashwin from the test match. I'm like, there are likely to be people who will pull you down on that note, but then India's strategy has been horses for courses. They didn't find a place for Ashwin, at least on day one when they saw the cloud cover. So they were straightforward that we need 4 bowlers, we need 4 pacers, and just look at the role change. Ishant Sharma, 2007 as a youngster, he was brought on, and now he is your second change bowler. So there is a change. So there is a strategy. It's not random. You are starting with Shami, your best bowler. I feel he is India's best bowler, even ahead of Bumrah, because the kind of control he has. Bumrah will get you wickets, but he will take some deliveries or some overs. He needs to get his engine garam karna.
And maybe
hota.
too many no
And
balls
but
also.
with Shami, yeah, but with Shami, you know it. Yesterday, I was watching that spell when he was bowling to Hamid, the England batsman, Hasib Hamid, if I am right. So, and you could see he had no clue. He had absolutely no clue. So, Shami is your rhythm bowler. Bumrah is someone who can contain plus take wickets. Then you have someone like Siraj who has nothing to lose. He is on this platform just on the basis of his hard work and how he has performed through the domestic structure. And then you have Ravindra Jadeja if the wicket is turning. So he gives you. So this attack in itself gives you that solidity and also options to Virat Kohli that here you have 5 bowlers, get me 20 wickets. I want to win the test match. The bowling was outstanding both in first innings and second innings. The changes worked. Yes, you had someone like Root, but you need to give credit to someone who has played well. But at the end of the day, other than Root, the rest of the batsmen were struggling, and as they say, if one batsman is not getting out, just get the remaining 10.
Undoubtedly. Nikhil, what do you feel about our bowling unit, especially on the first day and first innings, and about Siraj and Ishant?
See, Ishant Sharma is India's best bowler in England in the current 11. I mean, he is the only bowler who's picked 50 wickets in England amongst all Indian bowlers. He overtook Kapil Dev. Ishant Sharma also is a change bowler since 2018. His numbers, if you actually go into his average strike rate, etc., since 2018, he has one of the best averages and strike rates for a pace bowler in international cricket, in Test cricket rather, which is phenomenal. I mean, we think Ishant Sharma is on the decline, etc., but I mean, he's comparable to the Rabadas, to the Pat Cummins of the world. In fact, he's bettering their record since 2018. So also Ishant Sharma has done it before at Lord's. 7 wickets, 214, second innings, he won us the test at Lord's. He was excellent in the first inning, he picked 3 wickets. Siraj picked 4. Siraj has been a revelation since, raising his game on the Australian tour when our pace quartet could not play because of injuries. He was the highest wicket taker in Australia in that series for India. And since then, I mean, Siraj has been there. I mean, he's very inconsistent. He pitches the ball up, moves it both ways, nips it off the seam, gets the swing. So yeah, we were excellent in the first innings, and we did well to let England only take a very slender lead because England had to bat last. A lead of 27 is not much. A lead of 50 plus would have made a difference. 27 not much. So kudos to India in spite of the Joe Root innings. Yeah.
Exactly. So let's move on to the 2 test greats who have been in talks for I think from the starting of this test squad when it was announced. Cheteshwar Pujara and Ajinkya Rahane. A lot was expected from them. Yes, they did rise to the occasion, maybe in the later half, but they did. What you two feel about those 2 greats, Avijit?
See, if I am in Cheteshwar Pujara's shoes right now, I'll be feeling somewhat relieved right now for a couple of reasons. One, yes, I couldn't score a half century, but at the end, what was the situation of the game when I walked in? I'm like, India was in a dicey situation. They were 27 odd for 2 wickets, both the openers gone. What do you expect from him? You don't expect him to go bang bang, just get those 50, 60 runs in no time. He is someone who can stay there, and the rest of the players can actually revolve around him and play. So he did his job to perfection. I was very happy to see the way Rahane batted. I'm like, because he is someone, he's like a free flowing river.
Yes.
I'm like, you just give him, you just take pressure off him and he'll give you runs. And he was sweeping the ball. Suddenly he was sweeping. Yes, both of for both Rahane and Pujara, their careers are on the line. They know it, irrespective of whether they accept it or no. Yes, they are under pressure because the kind of inconsistencies, especially in Rahane's case, which of course Nikhil will highlight, is alarming, to be honest. But that partnership of 100 runs, that was where the test match started to turn. That was the time when the test match, when India believed that, yes, if they cannot win this, but they cannot lose it as well, because they were already 90 or 100 runs ahead of the game. But given the match situation, if you ask me, one of the turning points of the game, that has to be that partnership between Rahane and Pujara, and well done to them.
Yeah, exactly. Nikhil, what's your say on this?
Rahane and Pujara were fighting for their places in the 11. There was a lot of murmur that they're not performing well. One of them should be dropped. They came into bat at 28 for 3. The score was effectively 28 for 3, sort of cancelling the lead. And they put together 100, more importantly, of 297 deliveries, which is approximately 50 overs. So almost for 2 sessions, they negated Anderson and company. And what they ensured was that only 2 results are possible. Either it's a draw or India win. An Indian loss or an England victory was almost negated after that partnership.
Yes.
And that is a huge psychological advantage going into day 5 for India, because then England played day 5 in a different manner. They approached the 4th innings in a different manner. So that is dogged resilience by Rahane and Pujara. I mean, that 100 partnership showed character. They were still not at their best. But they said, kuch bhi ho jaye, we are not going to move. I mean, the ball can hit us, we are not going to move.
Exactly.
That shows character and temperament. And also just one number. So since 220, they I think batted in 9 innings together. Their average partnership was 19 odd. So let's say 20. Here they put together 100 in almost a crisis situation. If that partnership hadn't lasted for 300 deliveries, even if it lasted for 150 deliveries, India would have lost this test match. So a great performance. Future, I mean, that depends. I think the future for now is certain, but a great performance.
For the rest of the series, for
Yes,
sure.
for
Exactly.
sure.
Future may be dicey, but I think they did what it was expected from them.
Yeah.
I think the 5th day was full of surprises and full of miracles. Our batting unit did well, but surprisingly, our bowlers did amazingly well with the bat. Bumrah and Shami, what did these two actually did on the field, Abhijit?
I think, Radhika, the expressions on your face said the whole thing.
Was surprised.
And, I think not just you, but the whole of India was surprised. And you could just see Virat Kohli's expressions change. I mean, like, I want to quote Nasir Hussain's comment, which I heard. Like, if you want to see which way the test match is going for India, just don't look at the scoreboard. Look at Virat Kohli's face.
Expression, right?
I'm like that guy just tells you what is going on in the test match. If India is doing well, he's over the moon. If he's not, then you know that it's not going well. But coming back to that partnership, I'm like. You talk about miracles, you talk about turning moments in a test match. This partnership of 90 odd runs, and you could just see the celebration. I mean, like when Shami took his helmet off, it was almost like he scored a double 100 at Lords. But that was this innings of 50 odd, whatever he scored.
Exactly.
I mean, like it was close to a double 100, because we were at the start of the day 5, we were thinking if India just could manage somewhere 200, 210, they will be very competitive, which proved to be the point at the end of the day. But that partnership, and also Virat Kohli also said that, just to acknowledge the fact that what these two guys have done for the side, that tells you the kind of bonding, the kind of spirit this team has. Yes, the England bowlers did made a few, which Joe Root also accepted that, we made some tactical blunders, but then if one team doesn't do badly, the other team cannot win. So the bottom line stays that partnership allowed you that comfort of having 250 odd runs on the board, and that also gave the confidence to the Indian bowlers that, hey, you have some overs left, why not we push for a victory? Had this been somewhere between 175, 180, the approach would have been completely different, Radhika. And from there on, it was almost like a partnership of 50-60 for England, and maybe the test match is going away. Yesterday, after this partnership, it was one thing is clear, that England was not going to win this test match.
I think they were also scared when they saw Shami and Bumrah with the bat.
Yes.
I think surprises make test match more enjoyable for fans and for everyone out there. Nikhil, what you feel about that partnership of two bowlers with the bat?
Yes, I mean, they say, there's a famous cricket saying that bowlers hunt in pairs. So here Bumrah and Shami are hunting in pairs, but as batsmen. So it was almost a miracle. See, they came to the crease when India's lead was 182 when Nishant exited. We could have been bowled out with the overall lead, setting a target of less than 200, which psychologically would have given England an advantage. So everyone was hoping they take the lead to above 200, which gives India, a 60-40 chance.
Yes.
No one expected they'll put together the highest ninth wicket partnership for an Indian pair in England, which was 89. And that's what they did. It was both of them individually scored their personal highest test scores. And also, I think Bumrah was charged up with that episode with Anderson and also Virat Kohli backing him. We must credit the Indian captain where it's due. So Virat Kohli backed Bumrah. He also took on, Anderson and then Butler, then Joe Root, backing his bowler. And I think Bumrah was charged. I mean, it showed in his batting and then with his bowling. So, that partnership actually not only saved the match for India, it took India on the ascendancy, gave them the confidence that they can bowl this English side out in 2 sessions, which they did.
Exactly. I think as a unit, our team did amazingly well. Okay, apart from all these bowlers, let's talk about bowling as a unit for India. What do you think? How did they do for us?
And like if your Pacers get 19 wickets out of 20, they have definitely done something right. And the standout bowlers, of course. And there were phases in which every bowler stood out. You had Siraj taking 8, you had Ishant Sharma bagging important wickets, and then the contributions from the field as well. So clearly, if to win a test match, you need 20 wickets, and India did exactly that, and also in a limited period of time. That just tells you the kind of confidence this team has in them at the moment. And these guys, like Virat Kohli said, these guys are not going to stop here. I mean, like you have pitch-friendly or pacer-friendly conditions in Leeds expected. In Oval, you have spin, which is likely to take place, and the final test match is also there in a pace-friendly. So good luck to England. I mean, like survival is the only thing which I can see.
Exactly. Nikhil, what do you think about?
2 stats sum up the performance for the bowlers. This was only the 5th time in India's Test cricket history that the pace bowlers have taken 19 or more wickets in a match. I mean, that is stunning. Also, equally stunning is that all those 5 instances have happened post 218.
Yes.
Which the Indian pace bowling average since 2018 is the best in the world amongst all pace bowling units in the world. This quartet, which you can add Umesh Yadav to it and Oblique Siraj, is amongst the best in world cricketing history in terms of numbers. It's comparable to the West Indies quartet of late 1970s and 80s and the Australian trio of Lee, Gillespie and McGrath of the early 2000s. That is how special they are. Just because they have Indian surnames doesn't mean they're not that good.
Yes. So thank you so much, guys. I think it was an insightful and fun chat. India now have a lead 1-0 in the series, and the 3rd test match will be played at Leeds from August 25th. England will try to make a comeback, but India will now be riding on the confidence. That's all in for today. For more updates, keep watching News 9.